Well, you know the drill, kids. It is Monday night. It is Toronto out there by the look of things. It is night. As warned in the last episode, we're back to regular time. Look, bloody hell. It's 9:24. This is all my fault. I will explain. We will be brief. But first, because we always do, let's listen to my buddy Rob Currie. Man, I love this song. This is Link Reagan. Okay, here's the deal. This is all my fault. Well, it's not entirely my fault. It's the schedule changed, and then a little bit was my fault, which was I was watching game footage from my rugby game on Saturday, and I was enjoying it. And that made me late. So sorry. Here I am, though. Hi. Bad news is I got to be quick because I'm not a young man. 9:24. We got to make a podcast. I got to do the production side of it. I got to walk a dog. That joint's not going to smoke itself. I mean, come on, guys. What do you expect from a fella? Well, what are we doing tonight as long as we're being quick? By the way, that was the rugby talk. I played rugby this weekend. Played for almost 30 minutes, like 25 or something. It was a lot. More than I particularly liked. But we won. I made some tackles. Based on that game footage, I missed 2. But anyway, I made more than that, like 5. So that's all right. Anyway, hey, look at this. This is Ghost Runner IPA. This is from our friends at Left Field Brewery. Yes, it's not a pale ale. I've broken the streak. Streaks are made to be broken. No, that's records, I think. Well, anyway, this streak's broken because that's open. We're pouring it. Hey, kids at home. Just for you. After the fiasco of the one when I poured, anyway, you know what? Let's not talk about that. Let's just talk about this. Ooh, that is a good looking beer. She's hazy. He's foamy. They're looking good. Yeah, if you're not watching the video, which, you know, most people who consume this podcast aren't, it is hazy, yellow, amber. Lovely. Nice little chunk of white head on there. Ooh. I mean, citrusy, limey, lime peel, lime zest. Actually, almost like key lime pie. That's interesting. Something sweet in there too. Not that sweet necessarily has a flavor, but or an aroma. Sweet is a flavor. It doesn't have an aroma. What else are we getting? Maybe something orangey, but mostly limey. Maybe some wheat. Maybe. Oh, my phone's doing all sorts of stuff. I'm not even paying attention. Anyway, I'm going to drink this because, again, time is of the essence. That is delicious and definitely an IPA. That's actually interesting. Let me have another sip. What are we doing with this? This IPA has more perceived bitterness than I was expecting, because I was looking at this, I was smelling this, I was thinking this is very hard East Coast all the way. Now, important to remember, the godfather of the East Coast, Heady Topper, is in fact quite bitter. Or not quite, but it's notably bitter. Many of what we think of like as a New England style IPA these days is much less bitter than those original ones. Heady Topper, Focal Banger. They both, I mean, they've got obscene amounts of aroma hops in them, but they also have a noticeable, I was going to say notable, let's go with noticeable alpha acid bite to them. This is like that. I'm going to have another sip because I just talked so long I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, it is. I mean, still a bit lime peely. Maybe a little grapefruit juicy. Maybe that's when I was on the nose and I was getting a bit of orange maybe. kind of lime peel and orange kind of. If we make a Venn diagram, you could probably put grapefruit in the middle there. Some of the bitterness of the lime with some of the sweetness of the orange. See what I'm saying? Definitely a lot of peel, though. This has got some serious citrus zest going on. Yeah, trying to work out what's going on in the malt bill there. By the way, I always hate it when I can only come up with, there's something a little tropically there. I always want to be a bit more specific, but there's something tropically there. No, I think it's actually a little peachy. It's a little peachy, but it's a lot of citrusy. And the citrusy is really trying to make me ignore the fact that it's a little peachy. If it wasn't so alpha acidy and so bitter, I might have even said it's a little peach, fuzzy peach slicey. That's what I would have said in exactly those words. Yeah, still chasing that grain bill. It's two-row and it's wheat and it's oats. I'm going with that. I don't taste oats, but I feel them. I do taste a little bit of wheat, and it has to have barley in it. Otherwise, it isn't beer, and you're not legally allowed to make it here. So, actually, is that true? That was certainly true at a point. I think it does have to have malted barley in it. Like, I don't think you can make an all-rye beer and call it beer. But I could be wrong about that. I would like to be stood corrected. If you want to correct me on that, my number's open. No, that's not true. This is a live show. Call in. Let me just check with the producer over there. No one on the line just yet. In fact, at the moment, no one even watching. So live show is not doing super well at the moment. What do I know about this beer? That it's from left field. It's delicious. Nice, dry, snappy, bitter finish. I'm a little over the map because I think I was a little thrown off by the hour. We're going to go to the can. It does say Ghost Runner IPA. I'm going to go ahead and guess that ghost running is a baseball thing that I don't know about. Although on the side of the can, there's what looks like Casper, but with a different head, and he's wearing a baseball jersey and a helmet. And it says there's a scoreboard in the background that's like an LED clock with 6 numerals split into pairs, so 2, 2, and 2. And it says 2, 10, 2. I don't know the significance of those numbers. Oh, I haven't even talked about food yet. You're about to get left field's ballpark pairings. They say deep fried cheese curds. It would work. It would definitely work. And a jalapeno popper dog. Now, I don't know anything about that. I'm going to go ahead and guess that this is a hot dog with jalapeno poppers on top of it. That's my guess. Or is it just jalapeno poppers lined up in a hot dog bun, like as if they were a hot dog, but they're jalapeno poppers? Either way, I'm there for it. And actually, I would probably give the edge to the first option, which was the dog with the jalapeno poppers on top of it. This beer has more than enough bitterness to deal with the mild spiciness of a jalapeno popper, which, if you are of the sort that thinks that jalapeno poppers are real spicy, cool story. It must be mind-blowing going to like Golden Turtle or something like that. But, and especially if you're going with the all-beef Frank, you do get a bit of that mammally, fatty goodness up in there. And the beer is going to cut through that for sure, as well as the heat of the jalapeno popper. I think it's going to work really well. Deep fried cheese curds, in fact, are not particularly flavorsome items, which when you think about it makes sense. Cheese curds are wonderful, and I was going to say delicious, but delicious in a way. They don't have a particularly strong flavor. They're just cheesy and rich and good. And then, of course, a deep fried cheese curd is just that, dusted in flour and fried in a deep fryer. So you're not really getting a lot of flavor add here. That said, you do typically eat them with some sort of a dipping sauce. It could be a ranch, it could be ketchup. I actually don't even know. These are is it Midwest? They're like the other side of the Great Lakes. Is that the Midwest? Would we call that the Midwest? It's not really West. It's like Central, but that always throws me. They always say, oh, it's America's Midwest. And I'm like, what, the part smack in the middle of the country? That sounds like it's mid. Maybe it's just slightly west of mid. Anyway, the point is they're hot up there. Minnesota, the UP. I don't know, maybe in the Dakotas, north and south. Couldn't tell you, never been. Anyway, I'm sure that regionally there are different things that one does with them. We had them last year there at the old Canadian National Exhibition from friend of the podcast, King of Curds. And we went with the Fruity Pebble cheese curd. Oh my gosh. And there was like some sort of, I don't know, was it like an icing or something? Some sort of a very sugary sauce on there. They were delicious. Kids were losing their mind for that. I mean, the Fruity Pebble ones would work, but that probably wouldn't be my recommendation. Put some Franks up on there with them and then have it with that. You'll be happy as a clam at high tide. Oh, by the way, there are ingredients, and they do confirm to me that there is barley, wheat, oats in there. There's also hops and yeast, but of course there is. That does have to be in there to be beer. You need both of those items to make it a beer. Let's just see if I can find out any further information about this here beer. Well, I'll tell you this right out of the gate. When I put in Ghost Runner in my search bar, there was a lot of other things. So obviously a Ghost Runner is a thing. Ghost Runner, okay, a softball tool turned MLB rule. That's a nice, I like that. That's a good little term. A softball tool turned MLB rule. I wonder if the whole thing's going to be poetic. We're going to have to find out. Ghost Runner is a Spectre, an IPA that can't be pinned down. Okay, so we're falling apart here. But if the next sentence follows the same pattern, then we're back into it. So we had Ghost Runner is a Spectre, an IPA that can't be pinned down. Shifting from an earthy pine aroma to a sweet tropical pineapple. Oh, yeah, no, it's falling apart. And herbal thyme and lemongrass flavors. Okay, I'd go with lemongrass. Thyme. I didn't get too much spiciness on this. Oh, although, you know how it is. Once somebody tells you something, I think I can smell thyme. It says, with shades of our favorite IPAs, just when you think you have it, it morphs again. It makes an exciting player on the field. I still don't know what a Ghost Runner is. I do know now that I can 100% taste thyme in this because somebody told me, hey, it's thyme. Oh, yeah. What did I say when I said something tropical? They say pineapple. Not. Oh, I moved it to peachy. That's what happened. They actually only mention lemongrass for that. I get a ton of lime off that. Anyway, and zest. It's really delicious. And I don't always have to agree with Left Field, and they don't always have to agree with me, and that's okay. Pick this up at the brewery on Wagstaff, not the brew pub in Liberty Village, of course. Still haven't been there. Weekends are really full with rugby, and I knew that that was going to happen, and somehow I thought I was going to slot this in somehow, but I have failed to slot. At the very worst case, I have the last week of summer and the first week of school, but I have the 2 weeks around Labor Day off, and if I haven't made it by then, I absolutely will make it then. Pardon me. I will bike out there. It'll be great. I got this at Left Field on Wagstaff. Really nice, as always, to pop in there. I was coming back from driving to Barrie yesterday morning. The only thing worse than having to drive to Barrie for the day is having to do it in the morning. We had to be there, well, not even at 9. We had to be there a little before 9. Ugh, awful. Do not recommend. Don't put your kids in sports. What a terrible idea. No, I jest. Of course, put your kids in sports and put them in rugby. It's an amazing sport. We love it. Anyway, that's where I got it. That's where you can get it. You can also, I assume, get it at Wagstaff and probably nowhere else. Well, it's in kegs. It's probably at bars, like cool bars. Like maybe see if the Only has it, or the Wren. I've just demonstrated that the two bars that popped to my mind first were both within about 300 meters of each other. No, maybe a bit more than that. Call it a kilometer of each other on the Danforth. It's the kind of beer that you might get at Castro's, but I think they tend to have Greenwood on, and I don't think they normally take little dalliances on the IPA front. But if they did, I would endorse this one. That is a tasty beer. I am going to wrap this up because, as noted, if I do that now, I'm almost back on track. And so I'm sorry. It was a short one. I did get some rugby talk in, so I feel good about that. You got some beer talk. We all came out of this okay. We're all friends. We're all friends. Hey, I'll be back next week. What am I going to do next week? Couldn't tell you. Don't even know. Haven't even thought about it yet. Another pale ale? Maybe. Another IPA? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to do something. There was no sound there, by the way. If you were listening to the podcast and you think your headphones just clipped out, they did not. I just didn't say anything. And then I was that. No, I'm just joking. Your headphones are fine, guys. Leave them alone. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You look great, too. No one can see that spot on you. I mean, I'm kidding. Hey, I got to go. This is my buddy Rob Currie and the Currie Brothers. Link to buy this record is in the description, and you should. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.